welcome to the channel. I'm Ricky Myers, and this is the golden age of hard rock, where I'm bringing hard rock goodness to your dirty little ear holes. And today's glass will be from, it's my newest, get that thing in the white there, Bristol, the Bristol, Virginia Hard Rock Cafe. I don't know if it is the newest Hard Rock Cafe, but it's not even a year old yet. Today's beer of choice is the Golden Ox from Old Ox Brewery in Ashburn, Virginia. And I should say, this company has just now closed their doors forever. So this is going to be one of the last Golden Oxes that I ever partake of. And I've had quite a few over the years. This brewery's probably, I'm gonna guess, at least been here for 15 years. Don't really know why they're closing their doors, but they are. Oops, cheers. Golden Ox, we hardly knew ya. Okay, so what's today's video about? It's Friday, first of all. Hope you guys all have a great weekend. Today's video, man, there was no video last weekend, as you know. I tried to program some things to hit while I was gone, but basically I was off the coast of South America doing some island hopping in the ABC islands of Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And internet was super spotty down there. But anyway, I come back, totally recharged, spent a day at home taking care of some issues, and then I hit a road trip, 5.5 hours to go to the Bristol Hard Rock Cafe / hotel / concert venue / casino to catch David Lee Roth in concert. So I figure, hey, you know what? While I was island hopping off of South America, I read this book, and I also listened to this one on whatever you call it. Listen to it being read by Alex. So that's kind of cool. I own the book. I haven't read the book, but if you pick, I guess, whatever it's called, Audible or whatever, however you get your books online, it will actually be Alex. I said Eddie. It'll actually be Alex that is reading the book, and I thought that made it a lot better experience, actually, hearing him read every word that's in there. So anyway, that was what I did on vacation. Then I come back immediately, go down to the Hard Rock to catch David Lee Roth in concert. So I figure, hey, while it's fresh in my mind, because this was just 2 days ago, this was Wednesday night. So while it's still fresh in my mind, why not give you a review of what it's like to see David Lee Roth, currently, I believe, 72 years old, playing these old songs. Because I definitely recommend the show for some people, and for others, I would say you want to pass it. So first of all, let me just give you the set list from that night, which I can tell you is the exact set list from the 2 previous nights before he played here. I think this show is maybe the 5th one on the tour, and maybe has about another 15 to go. But it looks like the set list does not change. There is no encore. It's not one of those things where that they even put an encore. It's we'll just go ahead and do it, so you don't have to clap for us to come back out. We'll save a little time, and we'll just go. This is the set. The show was about 1 hour and 45 minutes long. So here were the songs. Gotta put on these $1.99 glasses. This is your set list. Opening song, Panama. Then Drop Dead Legs, I'm the One, I'll Wait, You Really Got Me, Running with the Devil, Romeo Delight, Dance the Night Away, Mean Street, Atomic Punk, Jamie's Crying, Unchained, Pretty Woman, Ain't Talking About Love, Hot for Teacher, Everybody Wants Some, and the closer is Jump. Now, that's 17 songs that you're going to see, about 1 hour and 45 minutes. That is 6 songs off of the debut album, 1 off of Van Halen 2, 2 off of Women and Children First, 2 songs off of Fair Warning, 1 song off of Diver Down, and 5 songs off 1984. So those are the stats of what you're going to get. I bought these tickets so far back that I should have written it down, but I think I paid somewhere around $80 or $90 for these tickets. And I was in the 6th row. Small venue, Hard Rock Live. I probably should have did a little homework and figured out how many people were there, but it looked like it was pretty much sold out. There may have been a couple of empty seats in there. But if I had to guesstimate, I would guesstimate that there was maybe 3,000 to 4,000 people there. Now, if you pull up the thing and it only seats 2,000, then obviously that was how many were there. Like I say, I saw a couple of empty seats, but pretty much all the seats were sold. So first off, let's go with the acoustics of the venue itself. It struck me when I first walked in like it was just a giant cafeteria. You had the metal folding chairs, but these were a little bit upgraded from that. They were the folding chairs with a nice 2-inch cushion on the seat, 2-inch cushion on the back. So the chairs were fun because, frankly, I stood the entire show anyway. So I didn't even sit down other than waiting for the show to begin. But I was thinking, this is probably not going to sound that great in here. It's like just a giant box and it feels like a cafeteria. But I was impressed. The sound, there were no sound issues throughout the night. The sound was good. It was very loud. I just got a set of those orgasm earbud earplugs, and they worked great because I could hear the show really good and it wasn't too loud. But then I took them out just to see how loud the volume was, and it was very loud. So technically the sound was great on this show. For a place this small, I was not expecting to see jumbotrons, but they had 3 of those, 1 above the stage and 1 on each side of the stage. So that was kind of a plus, even though it's like literally you're close enough to see everything. You don't really need a giant television on the wall. But you know what? It was great because sometimes I'd catch myself looking at it. Like if David's looking over one way, the camera's catching him and you're actually seeing whatever he's saying or doing or goofing off with. So the venue was okay. Not high marks on it because really it did just feel like a giant cafeteria. But for the actual delivery of the show, everything was fine with the audio and the visual aspect of that. Now, this band that David's got playing with him, I'm not going to know the names of any of these guys, but whoever this guy is on guitar is fabulous. Someone had told me on Facebook, I believe, that he is a well-known Van Halen tribute guy who plays out of Los Angeles. So he definitely has these songs down. It has the right tempo, the right feel, and of course the proficient with the correct notes being played. He's also very serious about his playing. He doesn't get distracted. He's not running around or anything like that. He's there recreating those sounds of Eddie Van Halen. And he doesn't let like David bother him when he comes over and wants to hang on him or try to goof around. He focuses on his playing, and he delivered. Very impressed with that. The rest of the band, I had no issues with them. There were no screw-ups, gaffes, or anything. The music itself, that the band and backup singers and keyboard player even, all of that production was great. That leaves us to David. Now, I want to choose my words carefully here because I'm not trying to shame anybody that's old. David is 72 years old, so if you saw him in the 80s when he was at the peak of his game, you can't go into this thinking that you're going to see that David. So I break it down into 2 parts, the physicality of the performance and the vocal delivery of the performance. And in both of those, David has definitely suffered and taken it down some notches. Excuse me. I feel like I'm going to have to sneeze right in the middle of this. So the physicality part, there is no jumping off of risers and touching his toes and doing any of that flamboyant stuff. Dave is 72 years old now. I don't fault him on this. He's just basically dancing in place, twirling the microphone stand a couple of times. And that's about the physicality of what you're going to get from David Lee Roth at 72 years old. Again, I don't expect any of these guys. If you take a look at, say, Rick Nielsen of Cheap Trick, one of my favorite bands, Rick Nielsen doesn't do what he did back in the day. He pretty much stands there and plays the guitar now, whereas he was a beast on the stage, running all over the place when he was younger. Same with, say, Angus Young. You see him out touring now. He is not the same Angus Young that played in the 80s with the physicality part of this. Even if you want to use the opposite of David Lee Roth, Sammy Hagar. Sammy Hagar is not the red rocker of the 1980s. He is not running from side to side of the stage, working up the crowd. He pretty much stands there and delivers his thing. So the same thing with David Lee Roth. I guess it seems like such a change because this guy was the pinnacle of a front man in the late 70s and early 80s, right? That's just not the case anymore. Now, you can still see like glimmer of, hey, I can see that old David Lee Roth in there and watching him perform, you know, the twinkle in his eye, and the guy is having fun out there, that's for sure. You can see that's still inside of him, but physically he just can't do those things anymore. So that's the physical side. The vocal side definitely has come down quite a bit. Now, David's got these 4 guys, backup singers, that will help carry the songs so that if you did not know, if you were a casual music listener of Van Halen, you're like, okay, you hear the songs being sung. But it's clearly not David that's singing the songs. These guys are carrying the bulk of the show. David comes in with certain parts. He picks the parts that he wants to play, but he's not singing all the words to these songs. And I just don't really know that there's any other option. At least he has found a way to still deliver a show and not like do what some of these other acts are doing. This guy can't fake or ad lib, like, right? He is so wild and off the cuff anyway with his singing style that, yeah, no, you're not getting anything fake here, but you are getting background singers who are basically carrying the show. David sings when he feels like it, when there's a part that he wants to accentuate with his voice. So that's kind of like the drawback on that. So then it's like, okay, there's your show, right? He's deteriorated in both vocal ability and his stage performance, the physicality part. So who would I recommend go see this show, and who would I recommend not go see this show? One thing before I do that is, one of his banters, there's a lot of banter, on stage banter from David all night long. And one of the things was he was telling his band, remember this, and looking around at the arena, remember this because you will miss this. And then he said, I certainly am going to miss this. Now, is that a premonition that this is it? Or is this really just the beginning? Maybe he's working himself back up into singing condition to maybe do another tour after this. Maybe there will be something that he'll go out and do the Roth solo tour. Don't know. But something to think about. So I say that because who do I recommend go and see this? And that would be somebody that was a fan of the Roth era of Van Halen, someone who's a fan of David Lee Roth, and someone who wants another chance of seeing these songs performed by David, even in its current state, would appreciate seeing him one last time. That's who I feel should go see this show, because I don't think you will come away from it feeling like, I wish I wouldn't have done that, because I certainly don't feel like I would have liked to have skipped this. I'm glad that I saw this. Now, if he were to come around next year, would I feel that I need to go see it again? No, I wouldn't. But the one time is kind of like a closure thing. I feel like with the passing of Eddie, to see Roth do nothing but Van Halen songs, and really, that Setlist, those 17 songs, all of those were great songs. And yeah, I am not regretting that I went, paid the money, drove 5.5 hours, and saw this show. And that's, I would recommend who should go see this show, is someone that would approach it in that same way of, I'd like to, even though it's not going to be what I remember from the 80s, I'd still like a chance of seeing one more glimpse into Diamond Dave singing these songs. Who would I recommend not go see this show? Pretty much everybody else. If you're a casual Van Halen fan where about the only song you know is Jump and maybe a couple from Sammy Hagar, yeah, don't go see this, okay? Because it's not, if you've never seen Van Halen, this is not Van Halen. This is nowhere near Van Halen. This is for someone who has seen Van Halen, is a fan of the music, and would like to celebrate it with Dave. That's what this is. This is not a substitute for maybe you're younger and you never had the chance to see Van Halen. This is not Van Halen. This doesn't come close to the magic of the late 70s and early 80s Roth era Van Halen. So for anybody other than a diehard Van Halen fan, I would say this isn't for you, man. Just listen to the music and that's about all you can hope for at this point in life. Anyway, that's pretty much my review of seeing David Lee Roth at 72 years old performing nothing but Van Halen songs. And I was glad I went. So it's good to be back home, and hopefully there will be another video next Friday. Guys, until next time, keep rocking.